Hi there. My name is Christy Collier. Most of the time, I am known as the walking, talking mom. And you'll catch me outside with my cell phone up like this and um, talking about some random subject. And my hair is blowing all over the place, and probably you can't hear me very well because of the wind. So for in the future, you should know that I have ordered some um, proper cameras and some microphones that will cut out wind and noise in the background. Okay, so I was going to invite some friends here. Hi, Carol. I don't really, yeah, I guess I do. So I'm going to invite a few because I'm a little bit late. And then I will be right with you, okay? I'm not going to sit here and do this forever. How is everybody tonight? I know this is a Saturday night and a lot of you could be out. Hopefully you're not asleep yet. Don't know if I'll be able to read your comments or not. I don't even think I need this one, right? I don't need this one. So what happens here? Okay. I'm going to just invite about 3 more people that I know for sure wanted to see this. And we got her. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? Okay, I'm going to invite one more. Hi, I am ready. So how's everybody doing tonight? So I'll start over again. My name is Christy. And hi, yes, give me some likes and love so I know you're there. I'm not going to be able to read your comments. So if there is any, if you have any questions afterwards, I am going to, after the live, go through the comments and see if there's anything that I can provide you with. I want you to know a little bit about me. I am a Beachbody coach. I'm a life coach. I'm an Amelia James co-founder. I guess that's what we can call ourselves, right, Debbie? And I'm a blogger, and I'm a sports mom. And I'm also known as the walking, talking mom. I did do a real quick one this afternoon when I was walking my dog, just to let you know I was going to become live. However, as most of you know, oh my gosh, I didn't put this, sorry. As most of you know, it's windy like all the time. It doesn't matter what state you're in, it's windy. And so as I'm walking and I'm trying to talk on my phone like this, okay, and I usually have the dog over here. So I kind of have to, like watch her. And what else do I have to do? I have to watch where I'm walking, right? So a car doesn't go in front of me. So I'm supposed to hold it up like this. And because you guys don't obviously want to see what's up there or in my nose. But at any rate, I tried to do that today when I was walking outside to let you all know that I was going to be on here tonight and what my subject was going to be. And I think I ended up deleting it because I listened to it. And although there was probably about 25 people that joined, you could hear mostly wind. So that's why I sat here and went ahead and tried to invite some people. So what I wanted to talk to you about is children and adults that are being bullied. Let's start with me. When I was probably 9 in 4th grade, my parents both were transferred to Caterpillar in Morton. Both my mom and my dad worked. We had 4 of us kids at home. We lived in one of the nicest subdivisions in this small town where Caterpillar offices were. We went to private schools. However, I was the only girl in my class that their mother worked. My mom worked first shift, so she had to leave the house at 6:30, which left us kids home to get ourselves ready. And my dad worked second shift, and so usually he wasn't up quite that early, but he did try on occasion, okay? This sounds really stupid, and this is what kids do, and I don't think parents are aware of it. But you need to be more aware, okay? Because you don't know what's really affecting your children. Now, I'm not crazy or anything like that from what happened, but it did teach me some things, and I did have low self-esteem because of it for many years. So here's the little things that happened to me at that age. So hi, Terry. Hi, Hunter. Who else we got there? Leah, Ashley, hey. Ashley's my mentor, so she's probably sitting there writing notes, okay? Like what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong and what I need to work on. And that's okay, because guess what? I can handle it now. I know who I am, I love who I am, and I want to hear anything that's going to help improve me. Thanks for saying hi, Leah. Give me some hearts and love for that, because I worked on self-development for years. And I recommend that absolutely everybody does some kind of self-development. Anyway, let's get back to my story as a 9-year-old. So my mom worked, right? So it was up to us to get ready. I went to a private school. We had to wear uniforms. My uniform was a white blouse and a skirt and saddle shoes. We packed our own lunches, made our own lunches, okay? So I would get to school, and I was like the only girl that had a white blouse that wasn't crisp and bleached white, ironed perfectly, okay? I didn't iron at 9 years old. I was made fun of for that. You could hear them whispering behind my back, oh, look at her. Poor thing, her mom has to work. That was one thing. My skirt was supposed to have pleats in it. It didn't get ironed. So there wasn't any pleats in it. And I could hear, gosh, Ashley, I love this necklace that you gave us as a gift, but mine does not stay right. And by the way, this says warrior. And it's exactly what I feel like, a warrior. So here we go. Anyway, that stuck in my mind that these girls behind my back were talking like that. Now I got up in junior high and I made cheerleading, and I ended up getting voted as the head cheerleader. But I wasn't developed as much as some of the other girls, and so then it was the boys' turns to make fun of me. Now I want you guys to know that I'm going to be completely honest here, and I hope that I don't hurt my own child by this. I hope that some of their friends don't hear it and go and make a joke out of it. But boys in my class would walk by me and they would call me Twiggy. And let's see, who's on there that would be old enough to know who Twiggy was? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, so Twiggy was a model, but she was about this big around. She was cute, but she was like this big around. And my dad's side of the family was tall and lean. So I was skinny, okay. I guess overly skinny, but not because I didn't eat. I ate and I ate and I ate. But I was also flat chested. And so boys would walk by and they'd either call me Twiggy or they would put their hands like this. And finally, one day I asked a boy sitting next to me who never teased me what that meant. And he was kind of embarrassed to tell me, but he did. He said, they're making fun of you because you're flat chested. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of hurtful. I had to live with that. And I grew into my body. I never developed huge chest, but it's okay. I am happy with what God gave me now. But it took a while, and I remember the one boy that teased me the most was the captain of our basketball team. And I saw him my senior year in high school, and he came up to me and he said, "Are you Christy?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh my gosh, you turned out beautiful." And I looked at him and I said, "I've always been beautiful." Um, I had started going to counseling. My mom put me in counseling because I thought so horribly of myself. And that was one of the things that I had to practice was I am beautiful. Um, I'm not beautiful. I think I try to take good care of myself, but I'm not like one of those beautiful stars. But that's okay. I'm beautiful inside here, and I think that's the most important thing that counts. I care about people. That's why I'm on here tonight, okay, to talk about people that have been bullied and the effect that it has on them. Now, my being bullied didn't make me suicidal. Was I sad a lot? Yes. Did I hide during recess and cry? Yes, I did. But I had a mother that finally recognized those things, and yes, I did go to counseling. Didn't have to go very long, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But what did I do about some of this stuff? Number one, neither one of my children ever went to school without their clothes ironed. They never got dressed without their clothes ironed. Um, that's that was kind of my damage effect was I am never going to let my children go to school with non-iron clothes or non-matching clothes. And the other thing was I got these other kids that their moms worked, like they got these perfectly packed lunches, okay? And they would have homemade cookies and their sandwiches were cut exactly straight, all right? And I didn't cut my sandwich. I threw it together and I threw it in a bag. And we didn't have time to make cookies. My mom bowled at night. She played bingo. She played pinochle and she played bridge. And that's who my mom is. She was a socialite. So was my dad. They, and they taught me to be that way too. So I'm quite the busy mom too, like most of you probably know that's watching this. Hi, Quentin. How are you? So you're going to learn a little bit about my past here that you might not know. Quentin is my nephew, and I don't know if he's ever been bullied or not, but this might be a good one for him to learn. He's been recently engaged, will probably be married next year, start having children someday. So these are some of the things that I'm going to be talking about that you guys can look for, okay? Leah, you understand the story already. Thank you. So, yeah, my kids' sandwiches, they get cut, okay? And they got homemade cookies. So I wasn't really damaged, but I was never going to let my kids go through that. And I'm very, very, very protective of my kids. So I watch what is on their phone. Well, I can only talk about my son now because my daughter's grown up, but my son that's still at home, I check his phone. I make sure that there isn't things being said that he's not telling me about, and I hope and I pray that I have the relationship with him that he tells me when something's going on. However, recently I found out that he wasn't. Um, he tells me it wasn't affecting him, and maybe he's telling me the truth. Maybe he doesn't want me to talk about this. So I'll just briefly tell you that he does get teased because I am a Beachbody mom. I sell Shakeology, I work out, and I come on live and I talk about it. And he takes Shakeology himself. He works out himself. Um, he has to do that for basketball and baseball anyway. He takes a muscle recovery. He drinks protein drinks. And I happened to have his phone one day that he left instead of taking it to school. And I saw this really weird app come across. So I opened it and saw that, somebody had said something about, oh, you think you're all that because you drink protein shakes and you work out. Um, and I won't tell you the rest of it, but at any rate, I could tell that, hi, Chris. Hi, Angel. I could tell that they were making fun of him. So when he came home from school that night, I asked him about it, and he said, Mom, that's just because sometimes I get on and I do my Shakeology shakes and show people how to make them from somebody my age's point of view, and they tease me about it, but it's okay because I'm getting benefit out of it. I thank God for that. I thank God that he is strong enough, that he's learned from me that it doesn't matter what other people think as long as what you're doing is good. And you better not be ever making fun of other kids. Because guess what? We don't know how that's going to affect other children, other adults. I know coworkers that I watched being bullied, and I stepped up. I hope all of you do that. Not I mean be mean to them, but if you see somebody's being bullied and nobody's doing anything about it, you damn right. I think it's your business to say something, whether it's quietly to their parents, and maybe they'll turn around and say it's none of your business. And say, well, if it's being done in front of me, that makes it my business, right? That's how I feel about it. But so what I'm going to do now is I have been doing research, and I just want to share some of that research. There has been quite a few on the news, in the newspapers and on Facebook about kids that are committing suicide from being bullied. There's also been some younger adults that have done that. And I hope that as many people as I can get on here will listen to these statistics and these signs and maybe share them so that we can help these people. Okay? So I'm going to start out with bullying and suicide. And so you're going to find me reading. Ashley, if you're still watching, I don't know, give me a heart if you are. No, you had to jump off? Well, that's okay. I know that Ashley is very much pregnant and she has 2 children, and she probably, yes, had to get them to bed. And she probably went to bed with them. So I don't blame her. Anyway, so this is bullying and suicide. There is a strong link between bullying and suicide, as suggested by recent bullying-related suicides in the U.S. and other countries. Parents, teachers, and students are learning the dangers of bullying and trying to help other students who may be at risk for committing suicide. Suicide among teens is the leading cause of death. Let that sink in a minute. The leading. It used to be like childhood leukemia, or was it juvenile leukemia, MS. Now it's suicide. How horrible is that? How sad is that? So before I read the rest of this, the first thing I want to say is, are you listening to your children, your grandchildren, your friends' children? Do you hear how they talk? Because I'll tell you what, I listen to my son, and if I think that anything that he is saying is remotely downgrading, he's in trouble, like right now. He's not one of those kids that has been raised that way. But what happens when you get them in a whole group of boys and they're all running around together and you're with each other a lot? It's the same thing that happens at home. You learn from your environment, right? So if you're in an environment at home where you hear your mom and dad calling each other names all the time, what are you going to do? You're going to call people names. And maybe not even on purpose. It's just because it's something that you've learned from your environment. So, again, I'm going to repeat part of the way that your child acts is coming from home first. So parents, it's up to us to teach our kids, right? We have to watch them. We have to pay attention. So for those that are listening that may have a child that's bullied, I want to tell you some of the signs of being bullied that maybe they haven't told you, because a lot of times they're too embarrassed to tell, or they're afraid that if they tell you, you're going to do something like I'm doing, like I'm talking live, and they're going to get bullied more, right? Or you're going to go to the school and that's going to get out, okay? Because that kid that bullied you is going to get in trouble, and he's going to know he bullied you, so you told, and he's going to come after you more. That's what the kids think. And so our kids become afraid to even say anything. So thankfully, with my son, nothing's happened. I think a couple years ago there was a small incident, and I was actually right there. The kids even started saying stuff to me, and I stopped it immediately. And I told Ryan those weren't the kind of people that you want to choose to have as your friends, right? And that's what you parents have to do. You have to help. If they're under 18 years old, it's our responsibility to help them choose their friends. We can't be with them 24 hours a day, right? But we can help them by watching who they run with, how they're talking. Like right now, my son's downstairs and he's on the PS4 playing a game. And he's, live. So there's a bunch of kids talking. If I heard cussing and swearing going on, no kidding, I would go down and say, Ryan, you need to change who you're playing with. Now, that may seem drastic because he's in high school and he told me, he hears it every single day, all day long, going down the halls, right? But I want him to know that the least amount of people that he's around that does that, the more chance he has of not picking it up. And that's our responsibility, I feel, as a parent, that we need to listen and learn. Okay, so getting back to bullying and suicide, bully victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide than non-victims, according to the studies, and this is by Yale University. So y'all, if you want proof of what I'm telling you, you are more than welcome to put that in the comments, and I will send you this stuff. Okay, I didn't just make all this stuff up. And did I ever even tell you the reason why I'm doing this? Besides the fact that I've been hearing stuff, because other people are saying things to me, and because it's been happening in our town and surrounding towns, and it breaks my heart. And I don't really hear anybody talking about it. So please, people, listen to me. Share this information when I'm done. I know I'm long-winded. It's been 25 minutes already. You can listen to it some other time if you want. It's going to be recorded. But okay. Anyway, a study in Britain found that at least half the suicides among young people are also related to bullying. 10 to 16-year-old girls are at an even higher risk for suicide, according to the study. Okay, according to statistics reported by ABC News, nearly 30% of students are either bullies or victims of bullying. And 160,000 kids stay home from school every day because of fear of being bullied. Now, what's that going to do? I can tell you what it would do to my son. If he had to stay home, or if he chose to stay home, whatever excuse he gave me, he'd be failing his grades. His classes, because he wouldn't be getting his homework, he wouldn't be learning, right? And then that's going to make them get more depressed. So let's go to the signs, okay? Some of the warning signs of suicide in young people, and this is also in adults. Showing signs of depression, like ongoing sadness, withdrawal from others, losing interest in their favorite hobbies or activities, trouble sleeping, and trouble eating. Talking about or showing an interest in death or dying. Engaging in dangerous or harmful activities, including reckless behavior, substance abuse, or self-injury. I was absolutely amazed when, and that's later on, and I don't have to go through all that, but how many kids cut themselves? I didn't know that. I've not been around that, but it's mostly girls, but apparently when they can't deal with the pain that's in their heart, they cut themselves. And that pain that they're causing on their arms or their legs or wherever they do it stops the pain in here. Now, how sad is that? That just breaks my heart. Saying or expressing that they can't handle things anymore. You know, that's pretty important, because I can see a lot of parents or spouses or friends when, I've said some days, oh my gosh, I don't think I can handle anymore. So my friends probably think, okay, Christy's having a bad day. But what if I really meant that? What if I'm crying and I'm saying, I can't handle this anymore? Is somebody going to reach out and help me? Or are they going to go, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're fine. Well, obviously I'm not fine if I'm crying and I'm saying I can't handle this anymore. Now, if I just say it occasionally on a bad day, that's different. But if you notice a pattern, then you know that you need to step in somehow and help that person. If a person is displaying these symptoms, talk to them about your concerns and get them help right away, such as from a counselor, a doctor, or even the emergency room. Okay, in some cases, it may not be obvious that a teen is thinking about suicide, such as when the suicide seems to be triggered by a particularly bad episode of bullying. In several cases where bullying victims killed themselves, bullies had told the teen that he or she should kill himself or that the world would be better without them. Others that hear these type of statements should be quick to stop them. See what I'm saying? It's our job. If we hear that kind of stuff, step in. For God's sakes, don't let these children go through this. If you see them being bullied, stop it. Help them. Somehow. Find a way. I remember, and my son was so embarrassed, and I think it was against the law even. But a year ago, we're driving through the park. We have a pavilion and all that kind of stuff. And we were driving through the park to come home. And you can only go like 15 miles an hour there, I think, or 20. And there's ducks walking all the time and stuff. And so you have to go really slow. And believe me, the park police watch you. So we're driving really slow. And so obviously I can look around more, right? And I happened to see a group of boys to the left of me, close to the water, that surrounded one boy. And they were yelling and screaming. And it looked like they were trying to push him into the pavilion. But he would like fall back and push himself forward, and then they'd push him again. And they were yelling and screaming. And I had my window down. And I could not drive on. So there was a church. Yeah, there's a church right there, a parking lot. And I think the Miller Center. It's a place for senior citizens to go and have a lot of activities. Anyway, so I pulled over in there, and I walked across the street, and I went up to those boys, and I said, I'm an undercover cop from the Pekin Police Department, and I'm going to have to take you kids to the station. Oh my gosh. First of all, that's against the law. I am not. But I didn't know what else to do to like stop them immediately and to scare them enough where they weren't going to like take off running. And so they did. They stopped, and they all stood there, and then they started apologizing. And I said, you know what? You don't need to apologize to me. You need to apologize to this kid right here. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, I'll let you go, but not before I get your names and your phone numbers and your parents' names. Because you don't have the right to do this. And at first I got a little slack from them, but not one of them said, can I see your badge, thankfully. And I continued with saying, I will watch you. I know what you look like now. I have your names, your phone numbers, and if I see this again, I will take you in, and your parents will be called. And they all apologized to the kid. The kid said that it was all fine, and he left, and they left, and I got in the car, and my son was so upset with me. He's like, Mom! Now, thankfully, they weren't anybody that knew him. They were like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years younger than him. I mean, they were like 8 and 9 year olds. So this is how early that starts. Can you imagine that? Anyway, I really didn't have the right to do that. And you guys, I don't keep doing that. But here's what I am doing. I have started seeing at sporting events that there's a lot of bullying going on. And it's from the stands of the fans from whatever the opposing team. And they actually call some of the players names, bad names, and they get away with it. Okay. So last year, I noticed some of this, and there's some names I just don't want to give because I don't want to embarrass them, and I'm sure their parents have not given me the right to talk about it, so I'm not going to. But a couple of them was from this town that were getting bullied. They never showed any signs of it. Excuse me, I need a drink of water. They didn't show any signs of it, but I know that it hurt them, and it hurt them bad. Hi, Bree. You're going to have to re-listen to this, girlfriend, because this is like 35 minutes I think I've been on, but I'm talking about bullying, obviously. Anyway, I watched them be bullied, and I think the one thing that people need to remember is that, first of all, you don't know what's going on in their life. You have no idea. What you might be saying, you might think is funny. You might think, oh, that's going to get them off their ball game. But you have no idea what it's doing in their heart. You have no idea what their home life is. You have no idea how long it's going to last, those words that you said to them, or how deep it hurt them. Okay? So, one in particular that I heard, I was so mad. I watched these two boys do this for 2 quarters and then till the end of the game. And thankfully, the team that was being bullied won, so I'm glad for that. But I just could not keep my mouth shut. I did it good though, all right? I didn't do it unprofessionally. I walked up to them. They were like, after the game, they were standing out in the middle of the gym. And I walked up to them, and I said to the boy that was doing it the most, I said, "Are your parents here by chance?" And he was very snotty to me, okay? He said, "Why? Who are you?" And I said, "Well, actually, I've been given," and this is the truth, given permission from WEEK. I'm going to be going to games, sporting events, and I'm going to be studying on bullying that's going on at these events. And I'm going to be reporting back. And I've been watching this game, and I watched you bully for 2 innings. And he went, ma'am, really, I'm sorry, please, I don't want anything said. I don't want my parents to know about this. The superintendent was standing like this far away from him, could hear this the whole time and did nothing about it. Nothing. I looked at him and I said, "I'm pretty sure you're saying that right now because you don't want me to report this on the news. But as soon as I leave here, I can imagine the words that you're going to say about me, and you're going to be laughing. But you know what? That kid that you were just bullying, you have no idea what's going on in his life. How dare you? How dare you say those kinds of things to him? Did you ever think about that?" And he put his head down and he said, "No, ma'am." And I said, "Well, maybe you should. I happen to know what's going on in his life. I'm not going to tell you, but let me tell you, you would not want to be in his shoes." And the kid that was bullying with him was standing there listening to me, and he said, "Ma'am, we're really sorry." And I said, again, I said, "I am not the one you should be apologizing to." All right. I did go over to that kid's parents because I know they saw me go talk to those kids. And I said, I'm sorry. I didn't use names or anything, but I could not stand by and let that happen. Can't do it. It's not me. So, was it my business? Sort of, because I was given permission to do that. But I'm an American. I'm standing there. I'm watching this. They're doing it in front of me. You damn right it's my business. It's you guys' business too. If it's right in front of you, it's your business. And if your child comes home and they tell you about another child that's being bullied, I would try to help them too. Would I go make it worse for them? No. So you do have to sit down and think this out, okay? Who's it going to hurt? Who do I need to talk to that I can trust? Because believe me, there's not very many people that you can trust. And then what happens? What happens if you do nothing? Because there's nobody that you can trust. Because if you tell somebody, it's going to get worse. You get hurt deeper and deeper, and you get more depressed. And then you end up like the kids I'm talking about. They commit suicide. Is that what you want for your children or for your grandchildren? I don't. So I'm here to say that if I hear that my son's being bullied, I'm going to do something to stop it. I'll be careful. I'll go to the right people, or maybe I'll just help him. Thankfully, that hasn't happened yet, so I haven't had to, but I promise you, that's what I'm going to do. I do it for kids I don't know. I'm sure as hell not going to sit back and let it happen to my own. Okay? All right, let me see if I can find you a little bit more information. I'm sure you guys are probably getting bored with my little bit of a lecture here. This is going to be on YouTube too. Let's talk about the impact that this bullying has on students' academic achievements. How about that one? A little bit different than the suicide, right? A whole lot different, but it's still an effect. So I want you to hear about it real quick. Okay, so this study was done from the Faculty of Engineering Technology at the University of Jordan. The study aimed to investigate school bullying impact on students' academic achievement from teachers' perspectives. The study used a descriptive analytical methodology. The research sample consisted of all schools' teachers, in Amman West area, which is in Jordan. I know this is another country, but it's happening all over. So it's not, just here. But just this particular study I'm telling you about was in Jordan. Bullies exist in all communities since a long time. Bullying exists either in developed or developing societies. And it continues until it reaches its peak in the basic phase, stage 4, 5, and 6. It continues in higher basic stage and then starts to decline at a secondary level. Bullying is considered a common form of violence in schools. Bullying consists of criticizing, joking about the language that you speak, making fun of the clothes that you wear, making fun of the house that you live in, Most bullying is done out of pure jealousy. Bam. That's one of the things that you can teach your children or your grandchildren or your nieces, your nephews, or whoever it is that's being bullied. If they're being bullied, unless they bully themselves and they're like got a really sarcastic mouth and stuff, and kids just get sick of it and finally say something to them, they're bullying because they're jealous. And that's when you need to sit down and you need to encourage your child that this has nothing to do with him and everything to do with that other person. And then you need to teach them, they need to stand up for themselves, but not where it's going to get them beat up, because I've seen that happen, okay? So what I told my son, that if a situation like that was to come up, that the first thing that I'd like him to do is just ignore them. But if they're going to continue to stand there in front of him and do it, then he can either say, did I do something to you guys that you feel like you need to bully me? Or he can say, I really don't care to hear what you're saying, and walk away. Now, probably with him walking away, he's going to be called a sissy, right? Because that's what they do. To me, and that's what I would teach my son, I think it takes a bigger person to walk away than to stand there, argue back, and then what happens? Maybe somebody takes a swing at you, and then guess what happens if it's on school grounds? Not just the person that hit you gets kicked out, but so do you, even if you didn't swing back. So I've got mixed feelings about that. You walk away, you might get teased, but you won't get kicked out of school. And he's in sports, so of course he doesn't want to get kicked out of school, right? So the best thing to do then is to walk away. What about praying for him? This is a subject that I probably shouldn't touch on because there will be haters out there, but I don't care. I believe in Jesus. My son believes in Jesus, and I think that we need to pray. And we need to pray for those people that are doing the bullying, and we need to pray to God for ourselves, that he gives us strength, that he gives us the right words to say, that he forgives them, and that he helps us to forgive them. So we need to try that too. That's the only thing I'm going to say about Jesus. Not that I wouldn't say more, but I don't know. Somebody told me that according to Facebook, they're going to like start watching this kind of stuff, and if there's too much of it, they'll cut you out. Okay, let me finish with, this is from the WebMD. I go to them a lot because I also study cancer, and I get a lot of cancer articles off there and information. So that's what I'm going to read to you from now, and then I'm going to end this. Unfortunately, I'm not live where y'all can talk back to me right now, but like I said, you can always leave comments and questions, and I would be glad to ask them. I have tons and tons and tons of research that I can either look them up or probably know the answer already. But I just want to leave you with this. So this is other ways to help people who may be considering suicide. Now, this includes adults too, okay? Adults are doing it every single day. I have been lucky to only know one person in my life that committed suicide. And I got to tell you, I was mad. I was so mad at that person. I do not have, I'm going off the subject a little bit here, but I just want to explain my feelings. I don't have a depressive personality. Most of the time I'm happy, go lucky, positive. Anybody that knows me that's on there knows that about me, okay? Is anybody on there even? Or did y'all give up on me? Any hearts or likes or loves about any of this? Because I kind of feel like you got bored. Okay, so probably not. Anyway, I don't see anything moving. So that to me would tell me that y'all are gone. And that's okay, because I'm going to finish this. And like I said, you can watch it whenever, right? So where was I? It was about me, wasn't it? Okay, well, this whole thing isn't about me anyway. I was just going to say how I felt about it. Oh, I remember. So it was somebody that I knew, and according to the way that we were taught, suicide is a sin if you take your life. It's also against the law, by the way. So if you're ever talking to somebody and maybe they've had too much to drink, and a lot of times people that have had too much to drink will go, I'm just going to kill myself. Everybody will be better off. Sometimes that's just alcohol talking, but how do you know? Sometimes they could mean it. So what do you do about it? Hi, Martha Moore. Wow, you're really late joining, so you're not going to know what's going on. But so yeah, so this person committed suicide, and I was angry. Um, I went to the visitation the night before, but that morning, it was going to be the burial. I had some things to do and some appointments already, so I was not dressed for a funeral. So I didn't make it to the funeral, but ironically, when I was going home from my errands and stuff that I was doing, um, the cemetery was right there, and I saw like the last car pull out. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Martha. So I pulled in and I got out of the car, and of course it's a fresh grave, so I know which one to go to. Besides that, they had a lot of family plots around them. And again, I'm not going to use names. So if somebody thinks it's somebody they know, I'm not giving names, okay? But I walked up and I got on the ground, and the first thing I did was start praying for him. And then I talked to him. I've lost my mom, my dad, my brother, some aunts and uncles, a cousin, and a few friends, and a father-in-law. I've lost a lot of people in my life. Okay, two brothers actually, and my husband lost a son. So there's been a lot of death in our family, and it's all in your own belief. But I believe in, once they die, their soul leaves their body, and so whatever's buried or whatever is just a body. But I still take flowers in honor of them on their birthdays and holidays and so on and so forth. That's just me. Maybe I guess it's probably for me, but that's what I do. So here I am. I'm at this person's grave, and after I get done praying for their soul, I said, I am so freaking mad at you. And I mean mad. And the reason that I was so mad was because he left a wife and children to not just survive by themselves, but that was his legacy. There were small children and then older children. But those like those older children, they're going to know what he did. And what, I'm sweet to take flowers? You know what I did, Martha? Just when my brother's birthday passed, I like laid down on the grave, and after I had like cleaned it all up, you know, with the flowers and the little trinkets I've left there and stuff, and I brought in balloons, and then I said a prayer, and I let the balloons off in the air. I'm just kind of silly like that, but it made me feel better anyway. And it's kind of to watch the balloons just go all over the place. But anyway, getting back to this, the reason I was so mad was because this person, to me, was being selfish. I can't imagine being in a situation in my life that is so horrible that I'm going to just go, well, I'm going to take the easy way out and get out of here and leave the mess for everybody else. That's how I felt about it that day. Okay, that was me being mad and also feeling bad for all the family. That's also because I've never been depressed, and so I don't really know that feeling. And that was kind of unfair of me to judge him like that, okay? Because I don't know. I don't know his situation. And it's just not for me to judge. So I prayed again. And I just prayed for his soul. So that's the only person that I know personally that has committed suicide, but I hear all the time. So, and that's what I've been talking about, Martha, is children that are being bullied and adults, and then the outcome of some of them. Okay, so in ending, what I was getting to is other ways to help people who may be considering suicide. Take all talk or threats of suicide seriously. And that's what I was just talking about, okay? So if there's somebody drunk and, you know, they're blubbering around and, oh, I can't pay the bills and my husband's going out on me and my wife doesn't care about me anymore and kids don't even know if I'm home or not. So it doesn't matter if I'm around. They could be totally serious. Maybe that's not just the alcohol talking. So take it serious, okay? Don't tell the person that they are wrong or that they have a lot to live for. Instead, get them immediate medical help. Now, that person might be mad at you because, guess what? It's against the law to try to take your own life. And what they'll do is they'll throw you in jail, and then they'll make you take treatment, counseling. Now, if the hospitals are full, because there used to be a lot of state mental institutions, that's where you would go. I know our state in Illinois closed them all down because they couldn't afford them. So now it's your local hospital, and I think they have a floor. Most of them have a floor for mental illness, and that's where you'll go for a week or two until they feel like you're not suicidal anymore. But you could have just saved that person's life. Okay, so remember that part of it. They might be mad at you. They may never speak to you again, but at least you saved their life, right? Keep weapons and medications away from anyone who is at risk for suicide. Again, I'm going to bring up my son. I've not seen him ever shown any signs of being bullied or wanting to commit suicide or anything like that. But just in case, because, you know, they can fool you, my medications are put away and he doesn't know where they're at. And that's the way you guys need to keep it. If you have to lock them up, whatever you have to do with them, okay? Because what if you're not home? What if you're at work and your child's at home? Okay, parents, encourage your teens to talk about bullying that takes place. So see, that's where I started out. Encourage your child. And you're going to get a lot of no's from them. You might get, I don't want to talk about it. You might get, I don't want to say anything because that person would get mad at me. But you got to try. Get them to trust you. Make sure that whatever you say that you're going to do to help them, that you do, and you do it in the right way so that they're not bullied more, or they're not accused of things, or somebody doesn't get mad at them and then they feel bad because they told, okay? It's a good idea for parents to insist on being included in their children's friends or social networking. Bingo. I can't tell you how many parents have said to me that they don't look at their kids' phones, that they trust their kids. Guess what? I trust my kid, but darn it up. I pick up his phone periodically and I go through it and I read his messages. And I look at his Snapchat, you know, and one of my rules with him is you're going to either save the messages on Snapchat, because I don't know if y'all know about Snapchat, but when you make a conversation, it goes away. So he either saves them or he loses Snapchat, because guess who pays for that phone? You got it, me. So I own that phone, right? So yes, check on their social networking sites so that they can see if someone else has posted mean messages about them online. Text messages may be more difficult to know about, so parents should try to keep open communication with their children about bullying. So far, the things that I've been talking to you guys about, what I do, has been correct. But it's not because I'm a big smarty pants, it's because I've been studying this stuff, okay? Parents who see a serious bullying problem should talk to school authorities about it. Got to be honest with you, that kind of scares me, because I have been told that being in a small town, everybody knows everybody, and you talk to the wrong person and it can get back, that you're actually the one that came to them. So that's kind of scary. But you know what? If it's going to save somebody's life, to hell with them. And pardon my French or my English cuss word, whatever you want to call it, but it really makes me mad that we can't do something about this stuff. Really makes me mad. So that's why I'm taking this stance, to ask all of you to help me in this. Help your children, help your friends, your coworkers, wherever you see this bullying going on. Don't not do anything and then regret it when you find out they're gone. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about. I think I've said enough. I've been talking an hour. That's really long. And I appreciate you guys listening, and I really hope that you guys can take something from this, do something with it, save somebody's life. God bless you all for listening. Bye.